Hello, and we've got ears. Say cheers! In this video, we're going to use all of our Mouseketools to make a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse 3D cake. I'm making all of my fondant decorations with my easy marshmallow fondant recipes, which you can find both on my website and here on my channel. Many of the cutters and embossers I'm using are from my shop, Custom Cutters and Embossers by Erin, which I'll link in the description, and the majority of the fondant tools and molds I'm using here can be found in my Amazon storefront as well. This footage is a bit older. It's from a few years ago and I didn't have all the same equipment and editing tools I do now. So if you have any questions on parts that weren't filmed here, I'm happy to answer any questions in the comments. I'm working on Toodles here, and I had my shop 3D print a custom structure piece that I could attach the fondant with so he could actually hang suspended from the cake on a wire. I attached everything together with a little brush of water and let him dry like this, and here he is. Oh, Toodles! Next, we'll work on the glove from the handy club balloon. I'm starting with a piece of just plain white fondant and marking where I'm going to be pressing in and separating the fingers, and then just taking time to press those and round those so they're separated like this. I rolled some more white fondant and attached it to look like the cuff of the glove, and then I also made some little black pieces to look like the wrinkles of the glove. For the slide, I rolled out a long, thick piece of blue fondant and then cut out a piece at the end to look like the opening. I flattened this and smoothed this with a ball tool, and then I realized that a highlighter marker actually fit the space well and did the job more quickly. I also added some more thin round pieces of fondant around it, and then positioning this to dry overnight was kind of an architectural challenge. I ended up using some cake pans and I think even a sparkling water can and other things I'll show you later. And then we're just using various shapes fondant to make windows, doors, Mickey Mouse faces, gears, all kinds of things in different colors. Let everything dry overnight, open to air and out of sunlight. I decided to sculpt the head, the ears, and the shoe out of Rice Krispie treats because it's much lighter than a large piece of fondant or cake and easier to suspend. Then I filled this with the ganache. You can find my recipe on my channel here for chocolate ganache. You can also use white chocolate ganache if you prefer. This fills in any of the little cracks or holes between the Rice Krispie treats. Smooth this with a smoother. Once it's dry, add a little bit of water, and I'm going to cover this with fondant to look like Mickey Mouse. Covering a round sphere with fondant is much more difficult than covering a cake or even just a rounded cake. It took a lot of extra time and patience and smoothing, and in some places I did just add some Crisco or vegetable shortening just to smooth out cracks. I did this with the ears as well. And next we'll move on to the shoe, which we also made from Rice Krispie treats. I just carved the rough shape myself, covered it in ganache again, just like this, and then covered this in yellow fondant after brushing a little bit of water to help it stick. Then I trimmed off the excess and added some details. I also had my shop 3D print some black structure pieces like this black cylinder here to help connect things together and maintain the structure of the cake. And on goes the door. The first tier I'm making is a large, I believe it was a 10 or a 12-inch 2-layer cake for the whole clubhouse to sit on and kind of look like the surrounding grass. You can find all my recipes for cakes, buttercream frostings, fondant, and more on my website at customcakesandcupcakes.com. Once again, this is an older video. I didn't film absolutely every part of it like I typically do now, so if you're interested in learning more about how to frost a smooth buttercream cake, I'll link that video as well. Next, I used the hemisphere pan in the 6-inch size, and I'm just covering that with red buttercream and smoothing that with a flexible smoother or scraper like this. This is going to be the bottom of the clubhouse, the part that looks kind of like Mickey's shorts and has the windows on. I also cut some very small tiers. I believe these were 3 inches from a sheet cake I baked to make a small tier for Minnie's Boutique, as well as the handy club balloon. I cut a hole in the center of one of the tiers, as you'll see here, to fit the handy club balloon into. I'll show later. And then one of them I left solid. There's an episode of the show that starts the spin-off for Minnie's Boutique, when Minnie starts a boutique shop in Mickey Park, and that's the episode my daughter wanted to focus this cake on. I also recently made a large Minnie's Boutique cake for another one of my daughters that I will upload video for in the future. Here are what all the frosted tiers look like, and now we will begin to assemble them. I have dowels in the larger tier where the little blobs of buttercream are. Then I placed the red hemisphere tier on top of that and also added the little small tiers next to it here. Here's what it looks like at this point in the process, and then we'll go through and add all the details that we made earlier. I added the shoe to one side of the hemisphere here, just like this, and then on the other side I added the upslide, which was dried in this curved position, and I used a wire to connect it. Through the top I added a skewer. This is going to attach Mickey's head to it. I added a little bit of black buttercream to help secure it to the structure piece and stuck it right on top. I didn't add the ears until the very last minute, as I'll show at the end of the video, but I did add some toothpicks or skewers on the sides for them. The handy club balloon fits inside on the small tier, and then Minnie's Boutique bow stand fits on the other small tier like this. Here's the spot for the windows. I marked the panes with some edible black marker, and this is a stamp I had my shop custom create with my daughter's name. I'm going to stamp it right into the cold buttercream and then paint it with some edible paints. After all the other fondant pieces were added, I did get some characters for her as part of her birthday present that fit on the cake as well. I found these Mickey Mouse shaped sprinkles by Sweets and Treats Boutique, which were perfect for this project, so I added them all over the cake. And here comes Toodles! The very last pieces I added, as I mentioned before, are the 2 ears, and they fit right on the toothpicks on Mickey Mouse's head. We used all of our Mouseketools. Say super cheers! Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to show you Minnie's Boutique cake coming soon.